We usually think of self-improvement as just a random collection of tips and tricks, right? But what if we looked at it like a software engineer? What if you could actually design and build a personal operating system for your life? Well, that's exactly what we're going to do. Let's build that system piece by piece.
Okay, first things first, we've got to get our priorities straight. This quote from Morgan Housel absolutely nails it. We spend so much time chasing the external signs of success. The fancy car, the big house, because we think that's what's going to earn us respect. But it almost never does. The real game, true success, is an inside job.
So, if it's not about all this stuff, what is it about? Well, the answer isn't some big secret. It's actually a system. A system you can design, install, and run every single day.
So here's the game plan. First, we're going to define what the success gap is. Then, we'll get into how your mindset is your personal operating system, how to code your own guiding principles, how to automate excellence with atomic habits, and finally, how to run the whole thing in what's called perpetual beta.
All right, let's kick things off with the core problem, the success gap. It's that frustrating feeling we all get sometimes of just being, stuck. Let's break down what that really is.
So author Hal Elrod calls this the success parallel, and it's a super simple but powerful idea. We all want that level 10 success, right? The dream job, the great relationships, the whole thing. But if our own personal development is only at a level 2, we can't possibly sustain it. Life just becomes this constant struggle, because who we are on the inside doesn't match the ambitions we have on the outside. And a huge reason for this gap, for why it's so hard, is what Ray Dalio calls the conflict between your two yous. See, you've got your logical brain, your higher level self, that knows you should probably go to the gym. It makes the plans. But then you've got your emotional brain, your lower level self, that just wants to chill on the couch and watch TV. This battle happening inside our heads is the main reason we know what to do, but so often we just don't do it.
Okay, so how do we actually close that gap? We start by installing the right operating system for our mind. Seriously, think of it like a computer. Without the right OS, none of the other programs are going to run correctly.
Now this is the buggy default OS that a lot of us are running on, the fixed mindset, a term from the psychologist Carol Dweck. This is the belief that your talents, your intelligence, your qualities, they're all just carved in stone. So failure feels like a final judgment on who you are. And because of that, you start avoiding challenges and you see effort as a sign of weakness.
But here's the upgrade, the growth mindset. This is the core belief that your abilities can be developed through dedication and hard work. With this mindset, challenges suddenly become opportunities to grow. Effort becomes the path to getting better. And this isn't just some fluffy, positive thinking mantra. It is the fundamental belief that makes everything else possible.
And this quote from Dweck just captures the power of this choice perfectly. Just changing this one core belief literally puts you on a completely different road in life. It's like the master switch that allows all the other upgrades to even happen.
All right, we've installed our Growth Mindset OS. Now it's time to write some code. We need a clear set of principles to guide us, especially when that emotional brain of ours tries to take the wheel.
Ray Dalio gives us a fantastic starting point with his first principle, think for yourself. It's really a simple 3-step process. First, decide what you really want. Second, figure out what is actually true about the world. And third, based on those two things, decide what you should do to get what you want.
So how do you actually do this? Well, Dalio's method is all about being radically open-minded and confronting your own ego. When you face a tough situation, instead of just reacting, you step back and see it as another one of those. You've seen this type of problem before. Then you actually write down a principle for how to handle it next time. Over time, you build up your own personal library of code for navigating life.
Okay, so we've got our OS, we've got our principles, but let's be real, making conscious, principled decisions all day long is exhausting. That's why the next step is to automate that code by turning your principles into effortless, automatic habits.
And this is where James Clear's work is just brilliant. He says every single habit, good or bad, follows this simple 4-step loop. A cue or a trigger starts it off. That leads to a craving, the motivation. That drives a response, which is the actual habit. And that's followed by a reward, the satisfaction that tells your brain, hey, let's do that again. If you understand this loop, you can hijack your own behavior. And this table, this is basically the user manual for your brain. To build a good habit, you just follow the 4 laws on the left. So, want to work out more? Make the cue obvious by laying out your gym clothes. Make it attractive with an awesome playlist.
Make it easy by picking a gym that's on your way home from work, and make it satisfying by tracking your progress. And hey, to break a bad habit, you just do the exact opposite for each step. It's that simple.
Now, these habits don't just magically appear, right? You have to be intentional. A consistent daily routine, something like Hal Elrod's Miracle Morning, creates this protected block of time where you can intentionally program your operating system every single day.
And here's the thing. There's no one-size-fits-all perfect routine. Research on great artists and thinkers shows they were all over the place. Stravinsky did headstands when he was stuck. Henry Miller only worked for a few focused hours a day. The specific ritual you choose matters way less than the fact that you do it with consistency. So find what works for you and just stick with it.
Okay, our system is designed, it's automated, but now comes the real test, running it in the messy, unpredictable, real world. How do we do that?
We do it by adopting a philosophy straight from the tech world, perpetual beta. This just means that your personal operating system is never finished. It's always a work in progress, always open to being tested, getting feedback, and being updated.
So this guy, Philip Tetlock, did this amazing study on super forecasters. These are just regular people who are shockingly good at predicting the future. And what he found was incredible. Their secret wasn't a genius-level IQ. It was entirely about how they think. And it's a process that anyone can learn.
So what's their secret? Well, first, they think in probabilities, not in black and white certainties. They're comfortable with maybe. They also actively hunt for views that prove them wrong. They keep score of their predictions so they can learn from their mistakes. And maybe most importantly, they are always willing to update their beliefs when the facts change. See, their goal isn't to be right all the time, it's to become less wrong over time. And one last, absolutely crucial piece of the puzzle, from Morgan Housel, is the idea of a margin of safety. No system is perfect. Things will go wrong. So you have to build room for error into your plans. Your system needs to be resilient enough to survive when things don't go exactly as planned, because they rarely do. So when you step back and look at it, your life isn't just a random series of events. It's a system that you are running. We've gone over the blueprint, a growth mindset for your OS, a set of guiding principles for your code, automated atomic habits, and a commitment to running it all in perpetual beta. The only real question left is, what's in your next update?